Happy Saturday afternoon, everyone. It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying warm. It's November in Chicago, so you know it's cold here. But Big Ten fans should feel a little warmth because the conference is really, really doing well in the pre-conference slate. This is something that has been an issue in past years where the conference didn't do as well this early. You know, we're only 2 weeks into the season, but perception goes a long way come in Selection Sunday. And so it'll be interesting to see how much weight these games will carry when the selection committee takes into consideration all that, they say, oh, well, the games in November count as much as in February. Well, we'll see about that. Because if it does, it bodes well for the Big Ten Conference because the Big Ten has been really good in early season non-conference success. It's been very impressive to watch. And I don't know if it will necessarily be a harbinger of things that come in the conference slate. We'll see. But I think these Big Ten teams are a little bit better than the preseason prognosticators around the country gave them credit for. I know that only 3 teams were in the preseason top 25, and I believe Michigan and Illinois were in the back end of that. I believe Michigan was 21st, maybe Illinois was 24, and rightfully so, Indiana was in. I thought Indiana should have even been higher. I think they were preseason 13. So let's kick it off. The first game that I want to talk about was Gonzaga versus Michigan State. Michigan State is up 9 in the second half, and Drew Timme takes over. He ends up with 22 points. But you saw something in this Michigan State team, and I want to go back to the Big Ten Media Day. And I've known Tom Izzo a long time. Tom Izzo recruited me and Kendall Gill out of high school. And I've known Tom a long time. And he had a look on his face, almost a smirk, like he knew something was up. He knew he had a really, really good team and that he was fine with wherever people were going to pick his team pre-conference or preseason. I believe that Michigan State was number 4 preseason, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, and then Michigan State. But he had a gambler smile on his face, like he had a hand that was going to trump some other people's hands and people didn't know it. And I think even though they lost this game to Gonzaga, I think they learned something from it. And Mady Sissoko played his tail off. 14 points, 10 rebounds, really gave them an inside presence that to me was the biggest question mark for the Michigan State Spartans. So they battled. They got a lot of respect even in a loss to Gonzaga, 1-point loss. And then they turn around a couple nights later and beat Kentucky in double overtime. And I mean, it was an amazing game because Malik Hall had 20. Joey Hauser, I believe, had 24. Mady Sissoko was outstanding again. They fouled out Oscar Tshiebwe from Kentucky. Tyson Walker was outstanding down the stretch. He's looking clutch, like the player that Michigan State envisioned when he transferred in from Northeastern. And Jaden Atkins is starting to get the playing time, really starting to come into his own. It's gonna be up and down for him, but he's that athletic guard that can go get his own shot, can do some things, really provides a lot of balance. And this was an outstanding game. War of attrition, tremendous college basketball game early in the season. Michigan State comes out with a victory there. This one surprised me a little bit. And it was the perfect matchup, in my opinion, to go against Purdue to see what they were going to do in the backcourt, how they were going to handle a team that pressures, because Maryland will play similar to Marquette. They may not sell out as much defensively, like full court, but Maryland likes to change defenses and put a lot of pressure on your backcourt. And I thought Braden Smith was outstanding, 20 points. He really had some moxie down the stretch. He made some great plays. Zach Edey's playing like the top center in all of college basketball. That includes Timmy. That includes Sheboy. That includes Trace Jackson Davis. Zach Edey's been the premier big in all of college basketball so far this season. Outstanding consistency from the big fella. You remember, guys, he was playing 21 minutes last year, and he almost averaged a double-double. Now he's playing 27 to 29 minutes, and you see the production. It's through the roof. It's outstanding. So Purdue's down double digits in the second half, and Mackey Arena kicks in. They get some plays. They take better care of the basketball in the second half. They end up with a quality victory over a better than expected Marquette team. And I know a lot of people will look like, why'd you include this? Well, Iowa went to Seton Hall and beat them handily. And I want to give Chris Murray the opportunity to be Chris Murray, not Keegan Murray's brother. So I didn't say that, he would have a Keegan Murray-like season. Well, he had 29 on the road. So Chris shooting the three, but he's changing it up. Floaters, post move. You knew he could run the floor. Both he and his brother could always run the floor. But he had 29 on the road at Seton Hall. Okay? So this is a quality victory because Shaheen Holloway will have Seton Hall in NCAA tournament consideration. So that was an outstanding victory on the road, and the McCaffrey brothers are playing well. Tony Perkins is playing extremely well. Philip Rebracha looks a lot more comfortable and aggressive. This is an Iowa team, ladies and gentlemen, you got to keep your eye on. Okay, I'm not saying they'll win the Big Ten Conference, but they're going to be in the upper echelon. They're a tournament team, and they're built for tournament success. These guys are long. They've got multiple guys can score. Keep an eye on the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're playing extremely, extremely well. Let me go in this order here. This, ladies and gentlemen, was a heck of a ball game. All these games are really good. This one here was something else. Now, the Big Ten boasts the highest attendance in college basketball the last 45 years consecutively. So Purdue, Bloomington, Indiana, Breslin, the Breslin Center in East Lansing, the State Farm Center in Illinois. These are very Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa. These are very difficult places to go and get a victory. The RAC and the Rutgers. But the Cintas Center, if you are a diehard college basketball fan, put on your bucket list to go see a game at the Cintas Center, which is the home of the Xavier Musketeers. That place is electric. It's probably 11,000, maybe 12,000 at the most. The fans are right on top of you. Cincinnati is a very good basketball market, very knowledgeable fans, and Xavier basketball is big in that city, okay? Indiana went in there and took some shots. That was a heavyweight title bout. I mean, it was physical. That was as physical of a game that I've seen in the last 2 years in college basketball. I'm telling you, they were knocking the crap out of each other. And Xavier, Jack Nunge, Big Ten fans will remember him. He started out at Iowa. He's transferred a couple years back to Xavier. He's a grown-ass man. Jack Nunge is playing, y'all. And I don't know if you guys remember, he's a 7-footer long, and he's confident now. He's drop stepping, jump hooking, he's following up dunk. I mean, he's doing it all. And Indiana found a way to neutralize he and Zach Fremantle, who's also a big-time quality big for Xavier in the Big East. And Indiana found a way to neutralize those guys with Race Thompson, Trace Jackson Davis, and Malik Renew. Trace Jackson Davis was playing out of his mind. I believe he had 30 points, and he was like 11 or 13 from the field. He wasn't forcing shots. He was taking the game as it came to him. He played excellent defense. He looked like Zach Edey, a Big Ten Player of the Year. I mean, it was an outstanding game. Xavier Johnson had moments where he shined. Trace Jackson Davis was the man. Miller Kopp hit some big threes. He's starting to find his rhythm again. This Indiana team is deep. I mean, Trey Galloway came off the bench. He didn't necessarily score well, but he did a great job defensively because Kiki, Tandy, Jones, they were kind of having their way in the first half. Trey Galloway comes off the court. I remember a play where, what's the really talented guard from Xavier? His name is escaping me. But this kid can really flat out shoot. He can create, and he's coming right, and Trey Galloway jumped on his right hand, forced him to go left. It was a key portion of the game, and he couldn't get the shot off. And Xavier misses the shot. Indiana rebounds, goes down and scores. It was a big moment in the game. So Indiana is getting multiple contributions from Galloway, from Jordan Geronimo. Jalen Hood-Schifino hasn't even found his way yet. He was solid defensively, but offensively, he's really struggling. But he was on the floor at the end of the game. So was Malik Renew on the floor at the end of the game. And Indiana comes away with a high quality victory. I believe Xavier is are they preseason second in the Big East? And you go into the Seton Center and win that game in the way that they did. Oh, my goodness. Next game. UCLA was dominating this game in the first half. And there was a period at the 5-minute mark left in the first half to about the 5-minute mark into the second half. UCLA had the game at their pace. Jaime Jaquez was getting to his spots. Tiger Campbell he seemed open in about that 10-minute game stretch. Tiger Campbell seemed open they just kept leaving him, and he kept making them pay. He's just banging the three, he getting the mid-range, bang the mid-range, and UCLA was into their stuff. Then Illinois puts the pressure on with Coleman Hawkins and Sincere Harris in the backcourt. And I'm going to tell you something. I haven't seen a player come off the bench and do what Sincere Harris did last night in a long time, ladies and gentlemen. That was one of the better defensive efforts I've ever seen, ever. I've been associated with college basketball a long time. That was one of the best defensive efforts I've ever seen. He played so hard that his teammates couldn't help but pick up their intensity level. He was doing so much. Tiger Campbell, which he's never shook, he was thrown off by Sincere's intensity on the defensive end. This kid, Tiger Campbell's played, I'm sure he's played 110, 120 college basketball games. But he wasn't shook, but he was affected. He couldn't get to his spots. He turned the ball over once. I think Sincere picked him clean at one time. He made a pass. The line deflected. It went down and scored again. And everybody's going to think about Terrence Shannon, who had a tremendous game, setting a line-out record for threes made in a single game. Congratulations to Terrence Shannon. But none of that happens without Sincere Harris. See, those jumpers are a little bit easier when you have climbed back into the game. And the only reason Illini climbed back in the game is because of Sincere Harris. I'm telling you, if he doesn't have that effort, then Sky Clark doesn't have that move over his head to tie the score. I think Meyer hit a 3 one time off of a deflection. Coleman Hawkins got down court and got a layup. None of that happens without Sincere Harris, ladies and gentlemen. He was the key to that game. Now, I'm not taking anything away from TJ Shannon. I know they call him TJ. I'll say Terrence Shannon. I'm not taking a thing away from him because he's busted his ass all off season. I know you guys have heard the story. Got up at 4:30 every morning, was in the gym at 4:45 a.m., shot 1,000 jumpers a day. He deserves the praise that he's getting. He deserves the accolades that he's getting. But in my mind, if Sincere Harris doesn't come off the bench and give that tremendous defensive spark, none of it happens. My opinion only. My half cent worth of opinion. Okay? But great win by the Illini, coming back against a Final Four potential team in UCLA. And then the last game that I want to mention Michigan State was in control of this game the whole way. Villanova was able to make some shots late, do some things to kind of close it. But this game, it wasn't as close as this score indicates. Michigan State had control of this game the whole time. And yet again, Sissoko shows up. Joey Hauser's playing the best basketball of his career. There's no hesitation. He's catching, he's letting it go. He's catching. If he doesn't have the shot, he's putting it on the deck. If he can't get to the rim, he's putting it on the deck and passing. This is the Joey Hauser that I thought I would see when he first got to Michigan State. Outstanding basketball. So Hoggard is playing. Hoggard hit 2 threes last night, right? If A.J. Hoggard can be 35, 38% from three-point land, woo, Michigan State's going to be tough to beat, y'all. Because Malik Hall was balling. Joey Hauser was balling. Sissoko was balling. Tyson Walker is balling. Jaden Atkins might have had the nastiest dunk on, well, no. That would be Cliff Omore. Cliff Omore dunked on somebody the other day. I don't know that he knew that guy has a family. Oh, it was nasty. But Jaden Atkins caught Slater from Villanova last night on a fast break. He cocked it back to George and just, it was nasty. Nasty. It should have been and one. They didn't call the foul, but Slater got put on a poster. But Slater would ball for Villanova. He was their best player. But my point is that Michigan State is now showing you, it takes a Hall of Fame coach maybe in Tom Izzo, but Michigan State is showing you that he didn't take any transfers this year. These guys have had some time in the program. So they've been in situations where they've not performed up to their potential. Now they're starting to do that. Now they have some confidence. They have some depth. And Michigan State, ladies and gentlemen, has carried the torch for the Big Ten here in a non-conference slate. Let me see who's on here with me so I can acknowledge my people. But I'm very impressed with the Illini here early on. Let's see. Dan Wyatt, good to see you. Cute picture, man. Cute picture of the boys there. Let's see. I also want to talk about Purdue and Marquette. If Zach Edey has to play 30, 35 minutes a game, Purdue could be in trouble, in my opinion. That's not a bad comment right there. Now, I want to see if Zach can play 30 minutes a game. I believe he can play 30 minutes a game. I agree with you. I don't think 35 minutes a game is good for him. But I believe 30 minutes is. And here's the thing. Marquette did a fantastic job of scrambling things up, getting Purdue out of their rhythm in their half-court offense, and their pressure defense kind of bothered them a little bit. It took the second half for Braden Smith to come on. Brand Newman settled down. Lawyer shook free a few times. It was able to find long-range shots. And so then they got some rhythm. But I don't think Zach Edey's going to have to play 35 minutes a game because I agree with you. If he does have to play 35 minutes a game, that's not going to bode well for Purdue. Trey Kaufman-Wren is going to have to step up a little bit. Caleb First can come in there a little bit. Caleb First is playing like 3 different positions for Purdue. He's playing the wing. He's playing the 4 and the 5 at times. So he's got a lot on his shoulders. But I think Trey Kaufman-Wren is a guy that can come in and spell Zach Edey and do quite well because according to the Purdue coaching staff, they think he could be one of the best post-up players in the Big Ten Conference. And ladies and gentlemen, we got some premier post-up players, so that's saying a lot. But great point there. Unfortunately, your name didn't come up, but thank you for that. I appreciate it. Captain Fletcher, what's good, bro? The best game so far was Kentucky and Michigan State. If you saw Indiana and Xavier last night, you might think that was the best game. Kentucky, Michigan State was an outstanding game. 2 overtimes, 2 blue bloods. I get it. And I'm not going to disagree with you, Captain. I'm not. It was definitely game of the year material so far, no doubt. Throw Indiana and Xavier in there as well. Danny West, ILLINI, Monty Broten. What's up, Monty? Good to see you, my man. Thanks for jumping on. Danny West says, Harris is a bad man. I tell you what, Isn't it great, guys, ladies and gentlemen, to see a player that came in, he wasn't even looking to score. He just knew that I got to make something happen for my team. That was I hope that Brad Underwood and the Illinois basketball staff can take those clips from Sincere Harris and show how sincere he was in his intention to help the team. Not to pad his own stats, not to come in and hunt for shots, but to come in and sit down and lock down on somebody. I'm about to make your life miserable. Now, y'all know it warmed my heart being a former Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten. I know how important defense is. So that I had a little tear in my eye. No, I didn't. But I was happy for him. And I was hoping that there's young players that watch that game that understand the impact that you can have not scoring the basketball. And Illinois has so many talented players that somebody has to take the role of a defensive stopper. Somebody has to take the role of a setup person. Somebody's got to be a premier rebounder. Somebody needs to be a premier passer. Because Brad Underwood's got a problem, ladies and gentlemen. He's got to keep about 12 guys happy that can flat out play. All these guys can play. All of them can start on different Big Ten teams. All of them. Even Luke Goody, who's out with a broken foot, who the Illini hope will be back in January. Think about that. RJ Melendez and Ty Rodgers can't even get on the floor. They can't stay on the floor right now. And they'll find their way at some point, but man, I tip my hat to Sincere Harris. That was one of the better infusions of energy and defense off the bench that I've ever seen. The four freshmen, everything we expected. What's up, James Coomer? Good to see you again. Thanks for jumping in. The transfers are phenomenal. Shannon looks like a lottery pick. Cole Hawk and the other returners are the glue. Are you ready to say they're a top 10 team yet? I don't, you know what, James? I don't know. See, to me, the rankings and ratings and stuff, it can get fan bases excited. It can get people excited for college basketball. But once we're in the season, I'm okay with the Illini not being a top 10 team. I haven't seen enough of some of the other Big 12 teams, some of the other ACC teams. I haven't seen enough games yet to say that Illinois is a top 10 team. I will say this, though, that they can play with anybody in the country. And Illinois get a wonderful opportunity tomorrow when they face up against a very talented and very old Virginia team. This might be one of the oldest teams in college basketball. I believe Virginia has 4 fifth-year seniors and a couple regular seniors. And Kahee Clark, if you guys remember, was on that national championship team from Virginia. That's how long he's been there. So Illinois is going to get a wonderful opportunity tomorrow to play a quality team. So, we'll get, we'll see more. We'll get more evidence if they are a top 10 team, James. But I don't know if they're a top 10 team yet, but I know this. They can play with anybody in the country. I'll tell you that. Harris reminds me of Luther Head, says Danny West. I can see that comparison. I think Luther might be a little bit more athletic in terms of ups, in terms of jumping, but I don't know that Luther Head played that hard defensively. He played hard, but man, Harris was out of breath. He was playing so hard. That's hard to do. So I can see that comparison, though. I like that. Andrew Moody, what's good? Zoomer Sports. Terrence Shannon Jr. had a coming out party last night. He showed everyone that he means business in the Big Ten this year. You're right. He's putting to work. Look, guys like Dane Danger, who Fletcher, the strength coach of Illinois, really invested time with him. They ate meals together to show the young man how to change his diet to get his body where he needed to get. when he transferred from Baylor to Illinois, Dane was around 270, 280. I believe he's sub 260 now, but he might be in the 250 range. The kid didn't have to do it. So he dedicated himself. Terrence Shannon didn't have to get up at 4:30 a.m. every day in the offseason to get 1,000 jumpers up before they worked out. This wasn't he got up when the team was. No, he got up and got those jumpers in before the team works out. The team works out in the morning. They work out at 6:30 in the morning. So he's got 1,000 jumpers in before he comes to practice. So kudos to him because he deserves everything that he gets. Anytime somebody works like Kobe Bryant does, because that's what Terrence Shannon did. That's where Terrence got that from. Was from Kobe Bryant. So if you're willing to put in the work like Kobe Bryant, your game will have success. And that's what we're seeing. Great point, Andrew. Hope you're doing well, my man. Let's see. Yeah, but Michigan State returned the team from last year, unlike almost everybody else. That's my point, Monty. That's my point. It might take a Hall of Fame coach to pull it off in today's the way that college basketball is structured, but he's doing it. And so you know, I don't know exactly know what you mean, but it's kudos to him that he does return everybody. That's why he's 1 point away from being undefeated right now. And if they beat Gonzaga and they have this run against Kentucky and Villanova, it'd be hard to say Michigan State's not the number one team in the country. So I don't necessarily think that's a knock. I think that's praise for the fact that he could keep kids happy enough to return. He can keep the players happy enough in their roles that they've accepted these roles and they're busting people's ass now. Like, I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't think you do either, mine. Maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying here, but thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know about killing it, but I thought it would be a good time to come on. I know people are watching college football, but I want to do this before I get on the road. I've got Miami of Ohio versus Indiana in Indianapolis tomorrow. So I want to do this. See you at Butler. Okay. I saw Deion Thomas twice in Vegas. That game felt like NCAA tournament game last night. Curtis, it looked like it on TV. I'm telling you. Snot, blood, sweat was flying because these guys were banging each other. It was a great college basketball game in November. I loved it. Dan Wyatt, Illini 10, Michigan 10. I know, I think Michigan was up 7-3 at halftime. So that means that Michigan's kicked the field goal and Illini have a touchdown. So the Illini doing work up in Ann Arbor, which a lot of people didn't give them a snowball's chance in hell to win in the big house, but they're definitely holding their own here in the third quarter. Yes, it did. Has another tournament in Henderson starting Monday. Okay. Frankie Collins didn't light up Michigan, Captain. Arizona State lit up Michigan. Beat them like they stole something. Arizona State ended up, I think they won by 25. Frankie Collins didn't have a great game. I saw the stats on that. And as a matter of fact, let me look it up real quick just to make sure I'm not tripping. Because he had three teammates that I believe scored 15 points or more, but he wasn't one of them. Let me make sure. Cut that off. Hold on. Box score. Frankie Collins started. He played 18 minutes, 2 of 5 from the field, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 4 turnovers, 4 personal fouls, and 4 points. So I don't know that he was lighting Michigan up. His team lit Michigan up, but I don't know about him. I don't think he did. Why does it say Facebook user when I make a comment? I'm not quite sure. Share who you are. I'm not sure why it does that. There are times when I don't ask me. I'm not even going to try to figure it out. I don't know, but thank you for tuning in and comment. I really appreciate it. Why doesn't Illinois press sooner? Was a game changer with Harris in the game. Curtis, you can't keep that kind of intensity up for 40 minutes. It's impossible. You can't. And Brad Underwood knows a thing or two about what he's doing with his team. The Illini, they're winning this program the last 3 years in the Big Ten. I think Brad knows what he's doing. You can't sustain that type of intensity that Harris brought in the second half. You've got to kind of pick and choose your spots to do that. And I think that UCLA had a lot to do with the timing of which Illinois went to their press, because UCLA got into such a rhythm offensively. And if you're going to play at UCLA's pace and you're not going to fast break and you're going to walk the floor and you're going to try to beat them in half court, you're going to lose that game. You're not going to beat UCLA in that game. They're too good. They're too old. They're too talented. But what Brad Underwood knew, that he has a long bench. He's got hungry guys that want to come off the bench and contribute. And he threw Harris in there, and the rest is history. So you can't do that for 40 minutes or early in the game, because you can't sustain that. You got to pick and choose your spots when you do that. Hats off also to the Danger Zone. Dane Danger's playing, y'all. I love he's got some moxie. He's going to get some technical fouls this year. But you know what? I would share some things that I like to keep the things that the coaches tell me personally. I don't like to share those because I don't want to burn the coaches, because sometimes they don't want the public to know these things. But let me just say this, that Dane Danger has some swag. He's got some moxie, and he's a Chicago tough kid. His daddy played, Dana Jackson, at Minnesota. His grandfather played at Northwestern. This kid has got Big Ten basketball in his blood. So I love what he's done. I talked about the dedication he had to rework his body and to get in shape. And kudos to him, because he put the work in. Danny, I agree with you. Virginia's going to really show. Everybody likes North Carolina. I get it. There's a lot to like. I still think Virginia's going to win the ACC. Call me crazy if you want to. We'll see what happens in February. That Virginia team is Final Four good, in my opinion. They put up 86 points on Baylor. 86 points on Baylor. That's a really good team. So, Danny, you're right. It's a great opportunity. And you know what? College basketball needs games like this early. We need these games to start the season out. You gotta fight in the November, mid to late October, early to mid-November is the busiest time on the sports calendar. You've got to do some extraordinary things to get fans to pay attention to college basketball, because our sport is getting squeezed to March. That's when people want to pay attention to college. But no, start right now. And these games are wonderful for the sport. I'm not knocking any other conference or whatever, but the heavyweights need to play early, because you got to get eyeballs on the sport early. And Virginia versus Illinois, even on a Sunday, even when the NFL rules Sundays, there'll be a lot of people watching that game. The poor grad assistant had to fetch his shots at 4 a.m. every day. You know what? That is the Monty, you're funny. That's a good point now that I think about it. I was going to say something else, but you know what? That's a good point. That's good. That's funny. I was going to say something else, but we're going to ride with what you said there. That's good. I'm excited to see my Clemson Tigers go up against two Big Ten opponents in the next week with games versus Iowa and Penn State. I get to film Coach Brownell up close during the timeouts, so I'm interested to see how he coaches against those teams. Andrew Moody, ladies and gentlemen, is a student at Clemson, and he's got a podcast, Zoomer Sports. He does a great job. And Clemson, Iowa's tough, Andrew. Ooh, they're tough. You'll see. Penn State's tough. They're improved from last year. Jalen Pickett had a triple double. Was it against Rider? I believe it was against Rider. Penn State beat Rider, and Penn State dropped a tough one to Virginia Tech by 2. But this is an improved team, so you're going to see 2 quality Big Ten teams go up against your Tigers. That ought to be fun. Chef Brian Next, congratulations, Chef Brian Next. Newly married Chef Brian Next. Congratulations. I hope your honeymoon was great. Check out Chef Brian X, one of the better chefs I see on social media. Can hook up any kind of dish that you want. And you know what? He's a better man than he is a chef. Got a chance to spend some time with him at a mutual friend of ours, her party, and got a chance to chop it up. Good brother, man. Check him out. He's doing his thing. And congratulations to you, Chef. And much, success and love to you and your new bride. Thank you, Monty, for sharing that. So I guess you have to register your name for the live stream, which I don't know how to do. I should know, but I don't, so I apologize. But thank you, Monty. Curtis Dietz, not saying press the whole game. Do it 4 minutes at a time. They didn't press it all in the first half. Curtis, you're questioning the Big Ten champion coach. He's won 2 Big Ten championships the last 2 years. They won the Big Ten conference tournament, and then they won the regular season championship last season. You're questioning a championship coach. Let it ride. Now, if they lose and they didn't lose the press, then you might have something to question. But you don't want to nitpick a team that looks as good as Illinois this year, right? Let's not nitpick. Let's just wait and see and have trust in these coaches, not only just at Illinois, but coaches across the board. Until they do something egregious or something that's glaring, that sticks out. I don't know why we don't need a nitpick, do we? I don't think so. The reason I said about Frankie, he's transferred. We knew what you were talking about, Captain. I know that he's a transfer from Michigan. He didn't kill Michigan, though. You said that he went off on Michigan. Arizona State blasted Michigan. Frankie Collins had a decent game. Not a great game, decent game. Andrew, what do you think? What do you think? Let me see what I know. He set a school record for threes made in a game. Hold on. Let me pull up the box score and let's just make sure, because he had 29 points, right? He ended the game with 29, and he was 8 of 9 from 3, 9 of 13 from the field, 3 of 7 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 29 points and 10 rebounds against UCLA. I thought he was for real when he started the season. A line at 17-10 after the extra point. Okay. Thank you, Monty, for keeping us up. Line trying to pull the upset in the big house. Well, Dane Danger, he's got the bloodline. And when I went to see him in practice in the preseason, his footwork and him running the floor, and he can catch and look over his shoulder and pass out of his skill set is really, really high. He's got a really high basketball IQ. He's got a better motor now because he's in shape, and his skill set is unmatched, in my opinion. Oh, wow. Aaron Janowski, what's good? Aaron giving us a update on the score there. The transfer portal has done a good job on college sports. Not saying it's a bad thing, but rosters change significantly every year. Okay, so Aaron is giving a different perspective than I generally hear. I hear a lot of bitching and moaning about the transfer portal, but Aaron is giving a different perspective, which I can appreciate. Yes, you don't get a chance to see kids for 4 years at the same program. That's going to be kind of the exception, not the rule. But on the other hand, Aaron is giving us a viewpoint that there'll be excitement trying to figure out these rosters every year, that these teams are going to have these chemistry puzzles. They're going to have chemistry class and see which teams can develop the best chemistry moving forward. I like that, Aaron. Thank you. Bardo, you definitely got the best basketball college show on the internet. A lot of knowledge here about basketball. Love it. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Danny. And I appreciate you joining. And like for Danny and everyone else, if you know people who like this type of information where you guys can come on and have a discussion, that's what makes the show. It's not me up here talking all the time. That's why I love my tribe. People who are Bardo's Breakdown tribe members. I feed from you guys. This is what makes the show. It's not just me up here regurgitating and my opinion, all that. No, it's us having the conversation about the sport that we love. So, Danny, thank you. And comment, like, share on this live stream. Please. It helps me grow the channel, helps me grow the show, and it allows me to give you all much more knowledge about what's going on. Oh, what's up, Bo? Good to see you, man. I understand why you love him, Andrew. I think the Illini Nation's loving him as well. Did you ever attend other sporting events while you were playing for Illinois? You know what, Aaron? I didn't get to as much as I would like. I attended some women's basketball games. I got to a track event or two. I was at a lot of Illini football games. I will admit that. As much as we could with our schedule will allow, I had a ton of football players that were my boys. Howard Griffin, Marlon Primos. Wow, I'm drawing a blank. Sean Wax, Mo Gardner, Derek Brownlow, Romero Bryce, Sean Streeter. I was really close to a lot of the football players. And so I got a chance to go to a lot of their games. I didn't get to as many. I didn't get to the volleyball matches because the time, Aaron, when I was in school, our volleyball team, I believe, got to 2 Final Fours. Nancy Brocart. God, what's the other lady's name? Nancy was an All-American. We had 2 All-Americans. Nancy, can't remember the other lady's name. Kelly Ennis was an All-American track athlete. She was outstanding. Selena Modine was an Olympian. What's the sister's name? She's a track coach at Texas right now. She was running, so we try to check them out. But I didn't get out to as many as I would have preferred. But I think that's a big part of the college experience. Danger gonna lose 20 pounds and build back 25 pounds of muscle. I think he already did that. Mary Eggers. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Laura Leishman, athletic director who was in school at Illinois when I was there. Mary Eggers was an All-American. Nancy Brocart was an All-American. And I didn't go get a chance to see them as much as I would have preferred. I think I saw them one time, but they were outstanding. I had the golden era in Illinois sports. Now I'm hoping that changes, but the football team was outstanding. Did they get to the Rose Bowl? I think they got to the Rose Bowl once when I was there. The track team won the Big Ten championship. The baseball team won the Big Ten championship. Volleyball went to 2 Final Fours. The gymnastics won the national championship, I believe. The gymnastics team. I'm leaving a couple sports out. But during my 4-year run at Illinois was unparalleled in terms of across the board excellence in the sporting events. Thank you, Laura. As you know, I announce high school volleyball. It's such an exciting sport. Volleyball is off the chain. The Big Ten Conference has the best volleyball conference in the country. I believe there are 8 or 9 teams in the Big Ten that are ranked in the top 25. So yeah, Aaron, I'm very familiar with volleyball being as exciting as it is. Did you ever get to see Tony Lass from Carbondale play football? Oh yeah. The Truth Cole. Yeah. I saw Tony, went to high school with Tony, went to college with Tony as well. I saw Tony play, and we hung out a little bit. We hung with different crowds, with different groups, but it was always love when we saw each other. It's always love now when we bump into each other. Do you have a prediction for the score of the Illini Virginia game tomorrow? I definitely think it'll be a low-scoring game. I'll say Illini 65, Virginia 59. I'm not gonna guess who will win, but this game will be in the 70s or 80s. I don't think it'll be in the 50s or 60s. The Illini want to get up and down, and people have a image of Virginia in their head that they're slow down, grind it out. That's not that's not this Virginia team. They can score. So this is going to be a high scoring game. I anticipate it being in the 70s, probably 70s or 80s. All right. I think that's it for the questions. I appreciate you guys tuning in to Bardo's Breakdown. Wait a minute. I think I got one more. The Truth Cole says Illini will win. We will see about that. But thank you guys for tuning in to Bardo's Breakdown. Again, like, share, comment on this, whichever platform you're on. It really helps the growth of the show. And I really love having these discussions with you guys. All right. Tune in tomorrow. I'll be in Indianapolis covering Miami of Ohio versus Indiana on Big Ten Network tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Time. I think I got that right. Let me double check. I think it's 4:30 Eastern Time, but let me make sure. Yes, Indiana versus Miami of Ohio, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yep. So tune in on Big Ten Network tomorrow, guys. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. Stay warm. Love your family. Go Illini football. All right. Until next time, guys. Love y'all. Peace.